All right, hello, welcome. By now you should have finished up that recursive relations. Check the worksheet. This is the last thing you did. Just getting used to those notations and everything. Want to move on to the arithmetic sequences. Arithmetic sequence is just a pattern of numbers. Now, if it's arithmetic, then that pattern is either going to increase or decrease by a constant amount called the common difference. In other words, you're going to add or subtract the same number over and over and over to get the pattern. And that common difference is denoted by the letter D. So, just some examples, nothing to write in. If you have that pattern 2, 7, 12, 17, 22, 27, 32, each time starting after 2, you're adding 5. So your common difference would be 5. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 5 is 12, plus so forth. 100, 97, 94, those are going down 3 every time, so your common difference would be negative 3. If it's fractions, then you can get on Desmos or whatever you have to do. But if it's not obvious what the common difference is, which it wouldn't be, you could always take any number, as long as it's not the first one, any number in the sequence. Say I take 11 over 6 and subtract the number before it, minus 5 over 3. I can do that with calculator, or you can do it. Desmos has those fractions. Do it in Desmos if you don't have a calculator. But 11 over 6 minus 5 over 3 gives you 1 over 6. Now, if you want to make sure that it is following that pattern every time, then pick any other number. So I do the 5 over 2 and subtract the one before it. Does that pattern keep on going? I think you can see the calculator. So fraction 5 over 2 minus 7 over 3, and again 1/6. Also, if you just wanted to make sure that it follows the pattern, you can start with 5 over 3, right? So that's my first term. And each time I go ahead and enter that so that when I do plus, it's going to take the answer I just got and add. Our common difference is 1 over 1/6. So the next number when I hit enter should be 11 over 6. If I hit enter again, 2, 13 over 6, 7/3, 5 over 2, and you can see that it follows that pattern. All right, so common difference. And the reason that common difference is important is when you start getting into these arithmetic sequences, there's a formula. And this formula, if we were taking the final exam or on the final exam, this formula would be given to you. So it is a sub n, which is the nth term, right? A sub n just means the nth term. You can use any n you want, find any term, equals the first term plus parenthesis, whatever term you're looking for, the n has to match, minus 1 times that common difference. So n would be the number of term you want, so forth. All right, so we're going to start looking at how to use that formula. So given the following arithmetic sequence, find the 15th term. So you are finding a sub 15. And so if you look at the formula, you need the first term. Well, we have that, right? You don't have to write each one of these down every time. Just showing you a sub 1 is 3. That's the first term. N in the formula is the number of the term you're looking for. So you're looking for the 15th term. And then the common difference, you're going to have to figure out on your own. And you can either do 7 minus 3, 11 minus 7, or just look at the pattern, what number are they adding every time? Plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. So it's 4. So just plug all those into your formula. So it'd be the first term plus parenthesis 15 minus 1 times 4. And that's just straight calculator work. Put it into the Desmos calculator. 3 plus parenthesis 15 minus 1. If you wanted to put 14 there, that's fine. You can do that in your head. Times 4. So 59, and this sequence, the 15th term, would be 59. It's that simple. So look at another example just like that one. So this time you're looking for the 22nd term of that sequence. So again, the first term is 16. The number of the term you want is 22. And your common difference, since they are decreasing every time, they're going down by, looks like 6, right? I can always make sure what's 10 minus 16? Negative 6. So they're going down 6 every time. So make sure you use a common difference that's negative when your sequence is decreasing. So it'd be first term plus 22 to the n minus 1 times your common difference. Make sure it's negative 6 in your calculator. Right? If you're using that calculator, make sure you use that negative button, not the minus. Using Desmos, it doesn't matter. 16 plus parenthesis 22 minus 1 in parenthesis negative 6. So negative 110 is the 22nd term of that sequence. All right. I think I should have said at the beginning, now this worksheet or this note sheet is on your assignment, so you should be following along or print it off and do these also. Let's go on to number 3, second page. Alright, so it's going to start getting into where it doesn't just give you the pattern, but it just tells you some important information about it. And then you have to figure out what we're solving for. So this time it says the first term of an arithmetic sequence is 9. That's good. So right away, a sub 1 is 9. The common difference, so they tell us the common difference is 2. And now just find the 32nd term. So that means our n would be 32. So everything we need for the formula is just in the problem. It's just worded out. First term, a sub 1. So follow the formula. First term plus parenthesis n minus 1 times 2. And then again, straight into your calculator, 9 plus 32 minus 1 times 2. And that is 71. So 71 is the 32nd term in that sequence. The first term, so number 4, same idea. We're going to have some fractions, so make sure that you're handling fractions with Desmos. When you hit divide in Desmos, it should make a little fraction bar. Use the scientific calculator in Desmos, not the graphing one. You don't need to graph. But in this one, the first term is 3/5. The common difference is 1/2. Find the 12th term. So n is 12. Now, fractions like your first term can be any type of number. It could be a decimal. It could be a fraction. It could be negative. It could be positive. It could even be 0. Anything. Your common difference, same thing. It could be fraction, decimal, whole number, negative, positive, anything. But when you talk about the number of the terms, that n value, it always has to be a positive whole number, a counting number. Because those terms, it's first term, second term, third term. So n will always be a countable number, right? Something you can get on your fingers and toes. But again, all the information is provided for you. So to find the 12th term, you do the first term plus n, 12 minus 1, times your common difference, which is 1/2. So use my fractions, 3 over 5 plus parenthesis 12 minus 1 times 1/2. Parenthesis. That's it. And then 61 over 10 is, and that could also be written as 6 1/10, which is fine if you write it as a mixed number. There's no either way. Now, you should not write it as a decimal, only because in math, if the problems are in fraction form, then your answer should also be in fraction form or whole number. If the problems come in decimal form, your answer should be in decimal form. All right, so number 5, change things up a little bit. This time, the 15th term of an arithmetic sequence is 53. And the common difference is 3. And now they want us to find the first term. All right, so we could do this a couple different ways. You could put it into the normal formula, this one, and our variable, or the unknown, would be here, because we know that term, we know n, we know d, and then you'd have to solve. And it's not so bad. You could solve that equation. But if we want to just put it straight in our calculator, this formula is the one that's given to you. What they don't talk about is that this number 1 and this number 1 are the same for a reason. And you could put anything else there. So like for this one, instead of a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, we could say, since we know the 15th term, we could say that the nth term of this sequence is the 15th term plus n minus 15 times the common difference. And that's fine. You can do this with any arithmetic sequence as long as these two numbers match. And then again, these two numbers will match. So now if I know the 15th term and I want to find the 22nd term, I could just use 22 for n. If I wanted to find the 8th term, I could put in 8th for n. Well, in this case, I want to find the first term. So I'm going to say the first term will be the 15th term plus, and since that's n, the 1 will go first. 1 minus 15 times my common difference of, well, I'm just going to put d here, but this pattern will always match. Whatever's here, the 1 would go first minus the number there. That's going to give us a negative because in a positive common difference, the numbers are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So now if I want to go backwards and find the first term, you're going to end up subtracting, right? So then let's plug in the other stuff we know. The first term will be the 15th term, which is 53, plus 1 minus 15 times the common difference is 3. And you can just plug that in. 53 plus 1 minus 15 times 3. And the answer is 11. So, just as a side note, we could have, I'll show you the other way, we could have just gone with the old formula, which would say the 15th term is the first term, n minus 1 times d, and plug in what we know. So to get the 15th term, we know the 15th term, so we'd say 53 equals, we're looking for the first term, plus, that's the 15th, n minus 1, times the common difference is 3. and ran out of room. But that's okay. So this you're going to actually have to solve using algebra. You'd do this part first, which is just 15 minus 1, 14 times 3. So 14 times 3 is 42. So you'd end up with 53. You guys see that? 53 equals the first term plus 42. And then you'd subtract 42 minus 42. And the first term would be 11. So you're going to get the same thing. You're just going to have to do some solving. Or if you set it up this way, you can put it straight into your calculator and just get the answer. So let's look at that for number 6. Same idea. They give you a term that's not the first term, but they want you to find the first term. So we're going to say, since this is the one I want, I'm going to start with the first term. The first term will equal the one I know, this is the 22nd, plus, so this would be 1 minus 22. Always in that order. First term minus the 22nd times the common difference. And then plug in. So the first term is the 22nd term, negative 112, plus 1 minus 22 times negative 5. And since your common difference is negative 5, your terms are getting smaller and smaller, or going down. So the first term will be bigger than the 22nd term. But again, this is something you can put straight in your calculator. Negative 112 plus 1 minus 22 times negative 5. And I got negative 7 for that one. All right. In an arithmetic sequence, the first term is 17, the common difference is 7. Which term is 171? So this, which term, that's asking you to solve for n. And now we can't set up n equals. I guess we could write a formula for it, but we're not going to. Let's just go back to our original. The nth term is the first term plus n minus 1 times d. Right, so what they're looking for, what we don't know is what this n is. We know that the nth term is 171. So it'd be 171 is the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference is 7. So a lot of people just see this, well, maybe not because the 7's on the back side, maybe you don't notice right away, but you could distribute the 7, but you don't need to. This n is, again, a whole number. It's going to work out. So it just takes really 3 quick steps to solve for n. First, subtract that first term out. So get rid of that 17. I'm going to write it over here. So 171 minus 17. So that'd be 154 equals 17 is out, so it's n minus 1 times 7, and then divide out the 7. Make sure you can see that. Divide both sides by 7. And this has to come out even for that n, because then n minus 1, 154 divided by 7, if that doesn't come out to be a whole number, that's 22, then there's something wrong. Because then to solve for n, you just add 1. So n has to equal 23. All right? Now, if you wanted to practice or see if you're getting what I'm talking about, you can always pause the video and try these problems before I do them, if you think you're getting it. Number 8 is the same idea. We're trying to find which term, so we're looking for what's in. So maybe try that first before I do it. We'll just pause. Okay, so again, we have our formula. We know the nth term is negative 59.1. The first term is negative 3.3 plus, don't know what n is, n minus 1, and the common difference is negative 1.8. Like I said, just the same steps when you're solving for n. That's multiplying. So first, get rid of the 3.3, so I'm going to add it this time because it's negative. So add 3.3 to both sides. Negative 59.1 plus 3.3 is negative 55.8 equals n minus 1 times negative 1.8. Divide the common difference, divide by negative 1.8, and again, that has to come out to a whole number or there's something wrong with it. Divided by negative 1.8, 31. Add 1, so n must be 32. So the 32nd term of this sequence is negative 59.1. All right. You hear that scooter going by? My front door open. It's a beautiful Sunday that I'm making this. Hope you guys are getting out a little bit, getting some exercise. As the first term of an arithmetic sequence is 13, and the 15th term is 97, find that common difference. So we can, this time you're looking for what's the value of d. So if they give us the 15th term is the first term plus, and now if that's the 15th term minus the first term times d. So when you're looking for the common difference, pretty simple. Just first clean up that parenthesis because you can do that. 15 minus 1 is 14d. And then solve for d. So subtract the 13. 97 minus 13 is 84. So 84, right, bring that over here. 84 equals 14d. And now the common difference can be positive, it can be negative, it can be a fraction, it can be a decimal. So it's not necessarily going to go in evenly. But 84 divided by 14, 6. So this time it did. So your common difference is 6. So again, if you want to pause, try number 10 before I do it. Same idea, you just have some fractions, so be careful working with fractions. But it gives you the first term, the 28th term wants to know what's the common difference. So take the 28th term equals the first term, negative 3/4, plus 28 minus 1 times the common difference. So now, same thing as last time, clean up your parentheses. So negative 15 over 2 equals negative 3 over 4 plus 27d. Add, right? Add 3/4 to both sides. Hopefully you can see that. But I'm adding 3/4 to both sides. So you end up with negative 15 over 2 plus 3 over 4. 15 over 2 plus 3/4 is negative 27 over 4. So it'll be negative 27 over 4 equals 27d. And then just divide by 27. Take that answer, divide it by 27, and I get negative 1/4. And like I was saying, a common difference doesn't have to be a whole number. It can be a decimal, a fraction, positive, negative. Good. All right, 4 more. Number 11 changes up things. They give you the 15th term, the 28th term. They want to know what's the first term. Well, we can't find the first term without knowing the common difference. And we don't know that here. We're going to have to find that first. So if they give you 2 terms somewhere else to find the first term, you're going to have to start with what is that common difference. So start with the latter term, the one that has the higher number in your formula. So you'd say 313 equals the earlier term, 170, plus, and remember these are the term numbers in that order. So that's the 28th term minus, and that's the 15th term. Now, with that, the reason I did the 28th term here, so this subtraction will come out to be a positive number. I'll make it just a little bit easier on myself. And then I can find D just like we did before. So for now, it's not the first term they're given. So you'd say 313 is 170 plus 28 minus 15 is 13D. Subtract the 170. 313 minus 170 is 143 equals 13D. So D would equal, divided by 13, that's 11. But that's not the answer, that's just what is the common difference. So now that has to plug back in to find your first term. And we can go back to what we were talking about where you can just plug in the whole thing. If you want the first term, you take any term you want here. So I'm going to use the 15th, 170 plus, and that's going to be the first term minus, right? 1 minus that 170 is the 15th term times the common difference is 11 that we just found. And then that, you can just plug in the calculator. 1 minus 15 times 11. So the first term in this sequence is 16. All right, same idea for number 12 if you want to try it first. Pause and give it a shot, but I'll go ahead if you're paused. Again, if the 13th term is 155 and the 31st term is 11, then when we find the value of D, it's going to be negative. Your values are going down, right? So still start with the higher term number. So I'm still going to start with the 31st term equals the 13th term, which is 155, plus, and the term numbers, that was the 31st minus the 13th times D. You hear my dog barking? I don't know if it picks up that or not. Clean that parenthesis up. 31 minus 13 is 18. So 11 equals 155 plus 18D. Subtract the 155. You're going to get a negative because your common difference is going to be negative. 11 minus 155 is negative 144 equals 18D. Divide by 18, and the common difference is negative 8 because it's going down. Again, not your answer. You're finding the first term, so the first term has to be, doesn't matter which one you plug in. I'll use the 155, which is the 13th term, so plus, that would be 1, minus, that's the 13th term, times your common difference is negative 8. And plug that in, 155 plus 1 minus 13, negative 8. That's 251. And make sure when you get answers that they make sense. That yes, the first term would be bigger than 155 because they're decreasing. All right. So last two, same idea. It's just now you're not going to find the first term when you're done. You're actually going to find a 34th term. But you're still going to need to find that common difference first. So you know the 9th term, you know the 25th term, so you'd start with the 25th term. 290 equals, the 9th term is 98 plus term numbers 25 minus 9, 25th term minus 9th term times D. I mean, same 290 equals 98 plus 25 minus 9, 16D minus the 98, 290 minus 98, 192 equals 16D. Divide that 16, and the value of D is 12. Not the answer, but you need it to find the 34th term. So now, if I want the 34th term, take either one of the terms you already know. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 98, the first one, plus parenthesis. And if you want, that'd be the 34th term minus 98 is the 9th term times 12. And again, once you get to this point, you can set it up so you can just plug it in the calculator. 98 plus parenthesis 34 minus 9, 12. All right, 398. So you don't have to go back and get the first term if it doesn't ask for it. You can use any term if you know the common difference to find any other term, as long as you know D. So 14, again, like I said, good habit. Pause, try it. But here's 14. Again, they give you two terms, not the first one. They want to know what the 50th term is, so we are going to use these two terms. 36 is the latter term, 130, equals negative 48 plus, and that's the 36th term minus the 16th term times D. So negative 130 equals negative 48 plus 36 minus 16 is 20. D. Add 48 to both sides. Negative 130 plus 48 is negative 82 equals 20. D divided by 20. And it gives you a decimal. Now, negative 4.1 is D, which is fine. You don't have to make a fraction because there's no fractions in there. If this is multiple choice, well, let's find the 50th term first, but if it's a decimal, you might have to change it to a fraction and a multiple choice. But for this, you don't. So the 50th term would be, use either one of those, negative 48 plus, parenthesis, you're looking for the 50th, minus the negative 48 is the 16th, times negative 4.1. So the 50th term would be, again, negative 48 plus, parenthesis, 50 minus 16 times negative 4.1, 187, negative 187.4. Again, that's fine as a decimal. And that's it. All right, so you should be able to use those notes, and then the assignment is down. If you look at your assignment page, there's another worksheet down there that's the assignment. Try it. It goes right along with these notes. And then I believe there's a couple word problems on there that see if you can figure out. And then next week I'll have the answers up that you can check. But yeah, so do this assignment and then you'll move on to the next video, which is the arithmetic series notes after you finish this, and then have those finished by Friday. And then next Monday you'll get the answers and we'll move on to the next part of the unit. All right, thanks.